And welcome to this Press Herald. Today's just a quick take, and we're going to talk about just one issue that's been in the news. The knives are out for Secretary of War Pete Hegseth again. We all know that they've been after him since he was inaugurated for that role. They went after him hard. They did not want to see him end DEI in the military, get transgenders out of the military, and on and on. Basically, woke generals and clean it up and make them what our military should be: lethal forces to win wars, battles, wars, whatever you want to call it. But that's not what they're after here. And as you know, all about these strikes on the drug boats in the Caribbean. And there was a strike where they didn't blow the boat up the first time, so they ordered a second missile fired to finish the job. And the blood is in the water, literally. And because the blood's in the water, the libs are going for it. They are after a basically scalp. They want Hegseth. But what's interesting is this was already settled. Basically, this whole hoax, one more lib whack job, suppress Herald hoax has been debunked by no other than the New York Times, who had five people that they cited who had information about what actually happened and debunked the whole hoax. But apparently, the suppress Herald and the rest of the propaganda machine have not gotten the notice. Because in today's suppress Herald, today the Thursday, the 4th of December, and here they go. Hegseth faces deepening scrutiny from Congress. Some lawmakers and legal experts say the second strike on survivors on an alleged drug boat off Venezuela would have violated the laws of armed conflict. The alleged drug boat. There's video of a boat loaded, obviously, with drugs. There's no question what these are, but they have to allege drug boat, but they don't say the alleged second strike or anything else. They just go after Hegseth, and there it is. This is in one paper, the local news in Maine. And you're talking about they are just, again, knives out for the scalp of Secretary of the War, Pete Hegseth. And taking issue with warrior culture. Since working to become Defense Secretary, Hegseth has vowed to bring a warrior culture to the U.S. government's most powerful and expensive department, from rebranding it as the Department of War to essentially discarding the rules that govern how soldiers conduct themselves when lives are on the line. Yeah, when our U.S. soldiers' lives are on the line, the basically rules of engagement are defend themselves instead of getting killed because you're afraid to shoot back. So it's really just amazing. And they go through and this is all rehashing this old stuff. And then you have them citing, and this is what tells you this is nothing but propaganda. But now lawmakers and military and legal experts say the September 2nd attack borders on illegal military action. Somebody made a horrible decision. Somebody needs to be held accountable, said Senator Tom Tillis, a never-Trumper, anti-Trumper ever, who's quitting the Senate because he knows he's never going to get re-elected. Secretary talk show host may have been experienced in the fog of war, but that doesn't change the fact that this was an extrajudicial killing amounting to murder or war crime, said Senator Chris Van Hollen, who likes to go with basically terrorists and, gang members down and try to get them out of jail, even though they're convicted and known gang members. That's Senator Van Hollen. And Representative Don Bacon, who's running away, also a Republican, who served 30 years active duty in the Air Force, finishing his career at the rank of Brigadier General. He said he hasn't been a fan of Hegseth's leadership. That's because Hegseth is cutting out all the woke generals and probably they're friends of his. Why don't you get somebody who's, the fact that this article has nobody that's got any kind of real, you know, anything but never Trumpers. Will Hegseth keep Trump support? We certainly hope not. They got nothing. This is, been there, done that. We've already gone past that. But in the same paper, the same Thursday paper, here you go. Venezuela. This is in the local and state section. Heading Venezuela, how main delegation could be key in boat strike investigation. Senator Angus King and Representative Jared Golden, both never Trumpers, sit on the Senate and House Armed Services Committees, the leaders of which said they'll be looking into the attack. Again, it's been already adjudicated by the New York Times. You guys are late to the game, but they're not letting it go because this is what propaganda does. This is something that started with national news. It started with the Washington Compost. And then what they do is they get it out there. The AP and others, Washington Compost articles get republished, reprinted, quoted, taken, and it becomes propaganda. As I've said, politics is local, so is propaganda, and that's what our own suppress Herald right here in Maine is up to. They're nothing but propagandists. This story will go away. They'll have the hearings. They'll find out that everything was done according to legal doctrine, that they had lawyers, military lawyers, every step of the way. Everything's been vetted legally, and there's nothing to see. But hopefully they're thinking the damage will be done. They just want to take a scalp, and it's Hegseth. If they could get Hegseth's scalp, they can pin that and say, Trump, look, Trump, he had a bad guy here. And if you can't get Trump, take down everybody around him. That's all this is. Propaganda, pure and simple. And that's what the Suppress Herald is all about. They are in a propaganda arm, local news here in Maine. Paid for by billionaire oligarchs and hopefully out of business pretty soon. They're headed that way very quickly. All for today. Enjoy your day. Don't buy into the propagandist lies.